Welcome to our foam roll decompression spinal video. Now, today what we're going to be looking at is using the roller as a feedback tool to release as much tension up and down the spinal column as possible. Think of this as a full spinal reset. We're going to be testing and retesting our spinal segmentation, the ability to move one segment of the spine after the other as relaxed as possible, with our standing spinal roll before and then after our ground-based work with the roller. So without further ado, I have Mr. Shane Hines and Natalie Higbee here. They're going to be our beautiful models working through this series, first and foremost with this standing spinal roll. So without any further ado, y'all go ahead and stand up. This standing spinal roll is part of our standing mobility series and is a great assessment tool through this and any given day. So as we start in a tall neutral stance, the team here is going to be having their feet approximately hip width. Chest is proud, shoulders are back, head is pulled back on top of shoulders. So the whole body is literally stacked, one joint complex on top of the other. From this, we're going to start by opening the heart, opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chin gently, looking up towards the ceiling. Now, as we worked into that extension, we're going to go ahead and pull the chin down, bring it to our chest, roll our shoulders up and forward, reaching down through our fingertips to cue our upper back to start to flex. Working from the upper back to the mid back, one segment at a time, rolling down, letting the head hang from the mid back into the lower back through that TL junction, that T-spine and lumbar transduction, and then letting everything hang, head heavy, bringing your belly across the thighs, hanging your top of head down towards the floor. Stop here for a moment. Take a deep breath. Find a moment to relax all of the tissues up and down your back. And from here, you're going to soften the knees, press the knees forward, keeping your chin on your chest. As you press the knees forward, tuck the hips under, rolling mid-back all the way up, keeping the chin on the chest all the way until you're standing tall and the shoulders roll back over your hips. Head coming up last. Lift the heart again. Lift the chin again. Chin tucks the chest. Shoulders roll up and forward. As they roll up and forward, the weight of the hands and arms cue the mid-back to start to flex. Mid-back flexes high to mid to low into the lower back, hanging heavy over the front of your thighs, all the weight in your feet. All the tension out of your spine, the top of your head hanging down towards the floor. From here, we're going to cue soft knees, pressing the knees forward, tucking the hips under, chin staying on chest, rolling from low back to mid back to upper back, unwinding all that you just did to get down to get back up, reclaiming structure, getting the chest open, chin up, and taking note as you go through this third and final rep. Where is any tension still there? Chin down, roll the shoulders up and forward, roll the upper back forward, roll the mid back forward. This should be your best repetition. Third time's the charm. Has anything changed even in this basic practice from the rep 1 to rep 3? Do you see or feel a change in any of the tissues? Maybe you feel something that was tight is a little less tight. Maybe it's just as tight, and that's something you need to be aware of. Come on back up, slow and steady, pushing those knees forward, tucking the hips under on the way down and on the way up. Those are two different potential inputs for you to take account of. Beautiful. Come back up to standing and just take a moment to take a big, deep breath in. Exhale and think about where that tension was. Where that tension was, map it out in your mind's eye. Another deep breath in. Another long, slow exhale out. And remember, ingrain that in your memory as we get into the ground-based series that we're going to be moving through using this wonderful tool, the foam roller. So team, go ahead and engage the ground. We're going to have the team here head facing towards you as they engage the roller, work themselves closer to the mid or upper third of the mat. I don't want them to roll off the mat. Since we're on an elevated surface, we've got to give ourselves enough room to make sure that as we roll up and down the mat, we don't roll off of it. So we're going to be focusing on the mid spine So I'll show on Shane what area we're going to be rolling. This long roll is the beginning of our series. So we're going to roll from right here across the shoulder blades, the upper part of the back, down to around this junction where the low back and mid back meet. So this area we're going to roll across 3 times, just like we did our standing spinal roll, to map out where any tension is in this area of our body we need to really always increase the movement capacity of. Our mid back is a key to shoulder health, better breathing, really better living in a lot of ways. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and lay gently across the roller, across the shoulder blades, because that's going to provide a lot of stability. So even as we find this position here, some of us are going to have a hard time with our head. And I don't want you to think about holding your head up. I want you to be able to relax your head. So take the tips of your fingers and place them right at the base of your skull. Support your head with your fingertips. Don't pull on your head. Let your head relax in your hands as if your hands were pillows. Relaxing the head into the hands is going to cue your body into a more relaxed state. From here, gently tuck the tailbone under and lift the hips. So as we do that, by pressing the feet into the ground, we're just going to tuck them under softly. This is going to allow that roller to penetrate into those tissues. They're going to long roll up and down that segment that I showed you on the back of Shane. Good. About 3 long rolls up and down, focusing on, well, where is there tension? Where is there a speed bump? Sometimes we'll experience. There is literally a bump on one side or the other of our extensor chain, the muscles up and down our spine that we can take note of. Now, let's go ahead and roll up around the mid-back shoulder blade area, right around that biggest sway, the biggest transition in our mid-back, and see, is there a tight spot right around there, right where all these intersections of tissues and muscles are? Generally, there is going to be something there. So as we find one, go ahead and bring the hips back down to the ground, and we're going to take a big, expansive breath, inhaling the ribs open. Exhale and think about sinking over the roller, expanding the ribs, expanding the back line, relaxing those spinal tissues. A big inhale again. A long, slow exhale, relaxing over. Still supporting the head, allowing all of that to feel safe. Last and not least, third big, deep breath in. Big, deep breath in. Exhale and sink over. Deepest relaxation. Now, tuck the chin gently. Use the hands to support the head. Lift the hips softly again, tucking the tailbone under. We're going to roll down lower a little bit, about 3 inches, 2-3 inches, and find another spot that's tight. Before we hit that TL junction, that low back transition, there's probably still going to be another spot somewhere between that really meaty part across the shoulder blades and between that and the low back transition. We're going to find at least one more tight spot. So hang out there. Let the foam roller press deeply into that tight spot. Let the hips sink down. And we're going to go through that 3-breath cycle one more time. So go ahead and relax over. Big deep breath in, expanding the rib cage out to each side. Expanding the ribs up and out. Exhaling and rolling over the roller, hanging over the roller. Think of your body more as dough than as muscle and bone. Inhale. Exhale. Like dough resting on a rolling pin, gravity would take over and allow for those tissues to expand, the dough to expand. Last breath, inhale, exhale. Good. Okay, pull the head gently up using your hands and then tuck the tailbone under. We're going to be starting up in our upper back again, taking the tailbone under, lifting the hips, and then coming up to that mid back again, where that first tight spot kind of was. And we're going to line this up kind of around the armpit area. So if your hands were out in a T, as Shane has, we're just going to be right below that. So we're going up just a smidge right there. Beautiful. So your hands could hang over the top of the roller. Now, go ahead and relax your head in your hands again. We're going to be rolling side to side now. So let's go ahead and work on the setup of this. We're going to roll to our left. So I'll show with Natalie. The right knee stays bent. The left leg extends and moves into midline. So the foot is down her midline. The left arm is going to reach out in a Y-like position. And now from here, she's going to look to the left and then reach her right hand towards her left and past it. This reach and the right foot pushing into the ground is going to create stability, and the roll sensation as passive as possible. The head's relaxing on the shoulder. She's working towards about a 90-degree amount of rotation, and then working back towards her spine. She's not going to go on her spine. She's going to stay on this left side of her body, working into those tissues right next to her spine, those extensor tissues, really strong, tight muscles, and then work back to the left. Inhale to center, exhale to the side. Long, slow breath. Relax the head as much as you feel you can. Relax the body over the roller. Remember that dough analogy. And then back to center. Back towards center, not on the spine, but next to the spine. Letting those muscles push in towards the spine. Feeling those tissues release as you go closer and closer to the spine. Slowly moving there. And then to the side. Last and final roll. Third time's the charm. Reaching, eyes guiding the hand past the opposite hand, releasing those tissues, feeling you get one shoulder stacked on top of the other, maybe even a little bit past there if you feel you opened up more tissue. And then back towards the spine. This time we're going to go not only next to the spine, but across the spine, getting your feet both back under the knees, getting your spine laid flat across the roller. Take note, does the left side feel different in tissue quality and sensation and relaxation than the right side? Now let's set up for a right side roll. Right leg straight, and then into midline, right arm extends out in a Y position. Eyes look to the right, hand reaches past that right hand. So again, now Shane's looking, using his eyes to guide the hand past that other hand, working towards shoulders stacked one on top of the other, and then back towards center. Remember, as we hit center, we're going to stay off the spine, moving just right next to the spine, engaging those muscles right next to the spine. Inhale and exhale as we move into that rotation again. Ideally, one long, slow inhale as we recover, one long, slow exhale as we turn. Fine there. You can even have an extra breath at the end range. So inhale, exhale, we can go back, right? So we can always be focusing on exhalation is a relaxation cue. So if we're moving, it's nice if we're exhaling through the movement. So inhale to recover to center, exhale as we turn again. Reaching with the hand. Beautiful. Exhale. The exhale cues that dough-like relaxation over the roller. Inhale at the end range. Exhale as we move back towards center. Again, this is going to be our third roll. So we're going to find center across the spine. And take note, is there more relaxation here than when we were making this last transition? We're going to recover our feet. Support our head if necessary. And now tuck our tailbone under. We're rolling just a smidge down from there. Think about the 2-inch roll towards our TL junction, towards that mid-back, low-back transition, just 2 inches. Roll in there and find that second tight spot. And now we're going to go ahead and relax our hips down. Good. We're going to go ahead and set up for our left side roll. Left arm reaches out in a Y. Left leg extends, midline finds. Looking to the left, reach right hand past left. Exhale into that rotation. The goal again is to find less and less tension. This first rotation is usually the most tense. So you might not roll 90 degrees or even close to. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Good. So remember, we're going to always work our breath as part of this cycle of movement. Inhale to recover, exhale to roll to the side. Each time we go, second repetition should be more relaxation than the first one, even if you find a tight spot. Inhale and exhale back to center. Now, as you find that a little bit deeper penetration of that roller into the spine or into the tissues near the spine, inhale, exhale to the side again. Third time's the charm here. Really working through there. You might find your chest even moving closer towards, pointing towards the ground just a little bit, and then right back towards the spine. Great. Slow movement, especially as we're working with our spine or all the tissues around, is such an important part of the process. So you're coming flat again, recovering center. Take note again, does the left side feel different than the right side? Does it feel heavier or more relaxed? Let's go ahead and balance this out. Keep that left knee bent, extend the right leg coming into midline, right arm reaching out as a Y. Look to the right hand and reach past the right hand with the left hand. Exhaling as we roll over all of these tight tissues that support our ribs, our spine, and integrate all of that very important part of our structure together to work towards supporting your life. And roll back, nice and controlled. Exhale through the roll. Inhale to recover at each end range. Inhale at end range. Exhale as we rotate again. Again, second revolution should feel palpably different than the first one. You should feel less tense, even if you find a tense spot. Exhale, inhale, exhale to come back. Beautiful. So that's 2. Here we go. Back 2, back to center. And then 3, our third journey, all the way over. Deepest relaxation, deepest penetration into these tissues, and best recovery into these tissues, best feeding of hydration, of circulation. Come on back to center and map out that change between when we did the left side to now when we've done the right side. Okay, team, here we go. We got the mid-back working pretty good. We're just going to do these 2 revolutions here. We're going to go ahead and recover our head. And we're going to go ahead and recover our hips. Actually, for you guys, because of where we're going to go next, you may want to actually go ahead and put your hips down and then move yourself closer to this side of the mat. We're going to go from here to hip extension. Hip extension is going to be an interesting passive range exercise that we're going to be working, and then getting these lower tissues that support our spine into a much better state to allow for us to relax. So as they get closer to the base of this, they're going to lay back over the roller and then adjust the roller position. The roller position is going to be not at the apex of their glute here, but actually just right above that. So the hip extension that we're trying to create is right here on the front of the hip joint. Now, if we were to draw a straight line from that hip joint to the back side of our body, it's above the apex of our butt. So not the biggest part, but slightly above there. The roller is going to push into extend the front side of our hips. So as you find that position, we're going to extend the legs. And it should feel like the front side of your hips are being pushed up towards the ceiling. Take a big deep breath in and see if you can relax as much of your body as possible. It's going to take some time for some of the extensors of your mid-back to relax towards the floor. Just take another breath in, exhale, think heavy, backside towards the ground, sinking towards the ground. Now we're going to be looking down the legs. So Natalie has her legs nice and relaxed. She has a little bit of a toe out. So what we're going to have her do is bring her toes directly over her heels and then point her toes away and then relax. And then I'm going to have her toe out. Think about the outside of the W and then relax those hips over. We're going to have her toe in. Think about an uppercase A and then try to have those hips relax. That one might feel a little tense at first. Most of us are tight in that range. Now let's go back into an I. Toes above the heels. Point the toes away to stretch out the tissue on the front of the body. Relax those feet. Go back to the W or a V, right? Relax those hips. Go back to an uppercase A, toes in, and relax those hips. Great work there. Now we're going to go ahead and start rotating. From this position, we're going to be going across the upper hip and glute area into the lateral hip. And so we're going to be doing the exact same thing we've done before. Left arm goes up into Y, right knee bends now. Left leg's going to go into midline. She's going to look to that left hand and reach past that left hand to initiate rotation as she pushes into her right foot for stability, rolling across this hip, right below the iliac crest, the bone that's there, the big ridge of bone. She's going to roll right under that ridge into the meaty part of that hip. Inhale into the side, exhale to go back. These tissues are generally not going to be very resistant to pressure. They generally feel pretty good and have a little bit of pressure here. So inhale to recover, exhale back into the side. The key is as we get stacked side to side, think about that top hip. That top hip can relax down and over. Think about like a nice little hill here. Everything on this top hip should actually relax down, knee down towards the other knee. That you might feel on the top hip just as much as you feel the bottom hip. Back to center. Back towards center. Again, not going on flat, staying just this side of your spine. And then third time's the charm. Come on back over. Seeing if this tissue, this roller is penetrating deeper into the hip. Have you been able to open up those tissues just a little bit? These are big, strong muscles. They're really rigid and tight. They do a lot for us. So it might not be so easy to relax. It's okay. Your goal is to learn to do this over time. Go back across the back and nice and flat. We're going to reset and rotate to the opposite side. Rotate to the opposite side. Right leg straight. Right leg in midline. Right arm reaches out in a Y. Eyes looking towards that hand. Left hand reaches past that right hand as we push into that left foot, rotating across the hip. Again, getting the hips to stack. One hip over the opposite hip. Thinking about this knee drifting down. This knee drifting down is causing these tissues on this hip to open up. Now come on back, nice and slow. Always focusing on, again, the same thing we did before, even though I'm talking about all these additional things. You inhale at end range, exhale through the transition. Inhale at end range, exhale into the transition. Using that reach of the hand and the slight push off that foot, getting the knees to stack here at end range, letting the top knee drop towards the bottom knee to open up this top hip. The top hip might be feeling where you feel some of this work, and back. Beautiful work, team. Look how slow and how controlled these transitions are. Look how they're using their breath to cue relaxation. Third time's the charm. Let's come on back over. This is exactly what the benefit of this series is. You learning to teach yourself to down-regulate the tension in your muscular system, to down-regulate the tension in your mind, your body, all of it. Come on back. And you do that through a conscious practice of controlling your response to this pressure you're experiencing in your body. All right, team. So that relax those hips a little bit. You're going to soften those knees. And what I want you to do is I want you to go from across the base, the top of that hip here, to right above the joint at your low back. This is called the SI joint. So you're going to put the roller right above that sensitive area where a lot of us kind of feel unstable if you have SI joint pain. We're going to put the roller and press right above that. Okay, and as we do, I want you to release your tailbone over the edge. So Shane, I'm going to bring you a little bit further down. Beautiful. So the roller, the apex of the roller is kind of going right into your belt line, if that makes sense. Wherever your belt line is, your pant line is, that's where the roller is going to be pressing up into. That's going to allow you to now inhale, tuck your hips under. Think about scared doggy. Exhale, relax that tailbone down to the ground, arching that tailbone down to the ground, releasing the tailbone towards the floor. That's going to give you deeper penetration into this low back. Inhale, tuck the hips under. Good. Exhale and release deeper across the opposite side of the roller. Releasing this tension. Do this slow. Be loving in the way you approach these tissues. They are an area we hold a lot of tension, a lot of emotion. Inhale, tuck under. Exhale and release that tension. Deepest release here. Release both hips over. Just take note of how good it feels to allow yourself to relax this area of our body where we hold so much. Right leg stays bent. Left leg extends. Left leg goes out in a Y. Eyes look to the left. You're going to reach up and over. This time as we go across this tissue, you're going to be going right across the oblique line, across that iliac crest. So be gentle, be patient. You're going to try to stack your hips one on top of the other, and then come on back. Nice and slow after you take that inhale, pause, exhale, recover. Now, this is some areas that could be sensitive too as you go across that iliac crest, that ridge of bone. Inhale, exhale, and go for round two. So much of what we do, we generate power through twisting and turning. As we take steps, our hips are swaying back and forth in rotation and back. And a lot of those rotational movements, as subtle as they are largely controlled or contributed to by a lot of these tissues we're working through the lateral line of our body. Inhale, exhale, third time's the charm. And we are going to be more aware as we go through this process of maybe some asymmetries in the way we hold tension in our body from one side to the other. This side looks nice and relaxed on both of these people. So let's see, how does it feel with you? Does that left side feel tight? Let's go back to center. Of course, both Shane and Natalie have a practice within our durability stream of offerings. So they're very aware of their body. If this is new to you and you feel, hey, apprehensive, just go at your pace. Just go to your level. Let's recover, go to the opposite side. So right leg extends into midline. Right arm reaches out into Y. Eyes look to the right. Hand reaches past that right hand. Left hand reaches past right hand as you turn over. If you need to adjust the roller position a little bit, you can roll it up or down as necessary. Natalie made a nice little adjustment. And now roll to stack. Inhale. Exhale, roll back. Again, not going flat across the roller, staying biased to this right side until we get through the 3 revolutions. Recover, inhale. Exhale, roll and reach. Or I should say reach and roll, because the reach precedes the roll. The eyes look, the hand reaches, then you roll using that base. Again, letting the hip drop over. Oh, that one. There you go, Natalie. I can see that side's a little bit more tight on you. I'm opposite. My left hip is usually tighter. Come on back. Shane looks like he's taking a nap over the darn roller over here. He is the king of relaxation. He's done such a good job of this for years. Come on back over to the side. 3rd time's the charm. Take note, if you did feel apprehension, if you did feel tension, again, we took note of Natalie's a little tighter on the side. Maybe just focus on another deeper breath on that end range. Exhale a little bit before you start to move this time. So cue that relaxation a little bit at the apex of that tension. It's okay if you take a little bit longer. Hey, this is the program minimum. You could take longer on spots that need more love. You can push pause. You can just come back and rejoin the group later. Anything you need to do that's good for you is good for me. All right, so now we're right there at that, above that SI joint. We're going to go ahead and scoot ourselves down a little bit. So we're going to go up a little bit higher in our low back. So scoot our hips down. Good. From there. And now we're going to do the same thing. Relax that tailbone over. Good. Extend one leg. The left leg, I should say. Right leg bent. Extend the left arm out into Y. Look out to that Y and then roll to the side. This time we're going to be above that iliac crest in the meat of this oblique as we roll to the side, in the meat of that low back. This is going to be a nice release. If we can get that first one to release, we get this one to release. Oh, we're doing such a great job. Roll back, nice and slow. I promise you, even if you're finding discomfort, if you're finding apprehension, just as long as you stay within your ability, inhale, exhale to the side, that you will benefit from this practice. You will benefit from relieving yourself of the burden and carrying excessive tension into your body, this baggage. We don't want to live our life carrying baggage we don't need to carry. Other way, back to center. It costs us time, it costs us energy to deal with our baggage, so releasing it's the best way to go about things. And back to the side. If it's hard to get through the journey of life carrying all this excessive weight, then why not just let it go? And that's the goal of this practice. Take the parking brake off of your body and allow it to perform at its potential. Come on back. Beautiful. You're all high performance machines waiting to be unleashed. Take the parking brake off and let's go for a joyride, right? Let's go ahead and try to transition to the other side. Right leg extends, right leg into midline. Right arm reaches up into Y. Eyes guide towards the hand, and left hand reaches past that right hand as you roll to the side. Okay. If the hip was tight, then guess what? These tissues are going to be likely tight on this side as well. So if Natalie is feeling that, then that's totally normal. Come on back, slow and steady. Looking good, team. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing here. No matter what it is you're experiencing there, as long as you're staying within your abilities, I'm really happy with what you have going on there. Exhale back into that transition. learning how to relax the head, learning how to relax the shoulders towards the ground, learning to relax whatever you can get to come down towards the ground is a big key here. And come on back. That's 2. We're going to go for 3 here. Notice I can't count much higher than 3, so 3 is about right for me. Let's go back to the other side again. And I figure most of us have that ability. This is really simple, everybody. I want you to keep this as simple as it possibly can be, because in its simplicity, it is extremely powerful. Come on back. All right. We're going to hit one last spot. This is going to be a little bit different. We're going to scoot our body down across the roller till our hips can touch the ground. And this is going to be kind of right at this transition of mid and low back, the TL junction. So just drop those hips, bring your head up. Go ahead and use your hands to support your head. Okay, so you almost do it like a light sit up, bringing the hips down, anchor those hips down. There you go. All right, so from here, this is going to be about relaxing over the roller with the hips down. You've been doing it the other way for a little while. So you're going to go ahead and keep the head supported. Let's go ahead and reach the left hand out. Keep the head supported with your right. Left leg extends. And now think about this time turning the elbow over as you reach rather than hand. The head is still supported with the hand. And then roll over. Shoulders trying to stack one on top of the other. This is going to be pretty tight. Let the head hang onto the shoulder of the arm as you get to the side. Think about your arm as a pillow. Beautiful. And then back. Now, again, we talked about your arm as a pillow. If you're having a hard time with some of this, bring a pillow. Bring something for you to rest your head on. Varying firmness, varying heights, it's okay. Make this process as comfortable as you have to be successful. Roll to the side. This is about you doing what's right for you. This should be uncomfortable but not painful. Your goal is to dissipate, come on back, dissipate this tension in our body that we don't need to carry. So we're free to move, we're free to play, we're free to explore what our potential is. Let's go back for the 3rd time. And to do that, we have to respect where our bodies are now. You need support for your head. Bring a pillow, bring a prop, bring as many props as you need to be able to successfully do this. Go ahead and roll back. Good. Notice their bodies are now a lot closer to the ground. Okay, now we're going to transition to the other side. Still supporting the head with the free hand, reaching with the opposite hand. The first rep, I want supporting the head, and then if the head can release down to the ground, then that's great. But this side is going to feel much more tense than the way that we finished the other side. So now let's roll to this side. Now I say that, but Shane's pretty much, his whole body is on the ground over the roller. I don't know how this man does it, but that's what he's good at. He's good at relieving himself of all of this tension. I, on the other hand, am a ball of tension, always. And this takes lots of practice for me to get the benefit of. Whether you're like Shane or whether you're like me, just trust the process. Go on back for round 2. Nice. And back towards center. We're near the end of this series, team. You've done such a great job. We're going to be able to see the benefit of all this really shortly. 3rd time's the charm. This is our last drill, rolling side to side. Then we're just going to be resetting our spine hereafter. Nice. Love seeing the relaxation settle in. Come on back. And as we find that TL transition, the hips are on the ground, the head's supported, go ahead and roll long up and down that mid-back transition we started in, from high between the shoulder blades to that TL transition, TL junction. Take note of, is there a change in the quality of movement of those segments of your spine? Again, if you hear something, little movement between each segment, that's a good sign that those joints are moving. They have a potential to move in a way that maybe they hadn't. If you didn't feel that sensation, if you didn't feel the potential movement or the execution of movement, and now you do, learn to use that relaxation cue as you roll over once more, back and forth. Awesome. Okay, stay right across the shoulder blades. Let's go ahead and drop one hip down, roll to the side to disengage your roller. And go ahead and move the roller out of the way. We're going to get on all fours, okay? Beautiful. As we get on all fours, we're going to be working through a cat-cow series. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. That's going to be our goal here to start out. As we do this, we're going to start with an extension bias. So as Natalie pushes her hands down, she's going to start lifting her heart out in front and lifting her heart up, lifting her chin up slightly, tailbone lifting up towards the sky. She's going to exhale, push her hands down, bring her chin towards her chest, lift her mid-back up towards the ceiling, tucking the tailbone under. We're going to do 3 revolutions of this. Inhale into extension, slowly, segmentally moving all those tissues you just released into this extension bias. And exhale, pressing down with knees and hands, lifting the mid-back, pulling the navel towards the spine, relaxing into flexion. Inhale into extension. 3rd time's the charm. Good. Shoulders down away from ears. Exhale into flexion. Pressing down, lifting the mid-back up, and back to neutral. As we hit back to neutral, let's go ahead and work back to standing. So walk your feet up into between your hands as you see fit. And we're back into standing. The standing position, what we're going to be working on is what we started with, our segmental spinal drill of a standing spinal roll. So back, heart up, chest up, release your chin up, chin to chest, roll your shoulders up and forward, reach down through the fingertips as you roll the upper back down one segment at a time, mid-back and mid-back to TL junction to low back. I already see a much more fluid transition here, especially in that area for Natalie. Such a great job she did. Now we're going to push the knees forward, keeping our chin on our chest, tuck the tailbone under, roll back up one segment at a time to tall, neutral. Tall, neutral, shoulders back and down, head stacked on top of shoulders, and then past tall, neutral, chest lifts, chin lifts. Chin comes down to chest, roll the shoulders up and forward. Allow the shoulders to pull yourself down. Let the top of your head hang heavy. Not all of us have a cool mohawk, but Shane does. So see how the mohawk hangs towards the ground. That's the goal. The top of the hawk down towards the ground. Relaxing down, feeling all of this tissue up from the pelvic attachments all the way down the spine, releasing, relaxing, and allowing the head to hang relaxed. Soften the knees, push the knees forward, tuck the hips under, rounding back out. Chin staying on chest, recovering the shoulders slowly back on top of the structure, replacing structure. Chin comes up last, tall neutral, and then heart lifts, chin lifts. 3rd time's the charm. Remember, in 3s, chin down, shoulders roll up and forward, using the shoulders to cue flexion of the upper back, mid-back, TL junction, into that low back, the top of the head hanging heavy, using the head as a tractional force to decompress the whole spinal column up and down that spine. Hang out there for a second. Big, deep breath. Exhale, push the knees forward, tuck the hips under, and recover back to standing. Now the question is, as you've gone through this process, you've mapped out your body in a multitude of different ways. You did your standing spinal roll early. We talked about setting an intention and an awareness of where those hitches were. Has there been a change? Do you feel different in your body as you stand tall and proud right now? Do you feel more capable? Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel ready? Do you feel recovered? All these things are things that are unique to you and your response to this work. So take note of where you are in your body and where you are in your mind. Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel more free of whatever it was that you were carrying around with you before this process started? And take note of what that change is. I'd love for you to even take a little bit of time to journal that, right? So you can look back and see as you go through this process from today to the next time you go through it, how much change truly occurs in this short period of time and how impactful that can be for you.